pressure from the top three.
Yeah, risky reels for Favs, Kenshi, and Snacky rolling through. They also have a split on the other side of the Spire on the map. You'll see Kenshi dropping in a little bit outside of it, making sure they have the most efficient loot routes. This game, specifically looking at their performance, yes, they went down in 14th, was slightly earlier inside the end game. Yesterday, though, they were popping off. You know, they're very good when they finally get towards an end game with second places and finishes in first. The consistency, so you never see these guys coming in third or fifth or 10th, really. It's a really good end game or out early. So in that aspect, you really want to be careful rolling into day 2 and make sure you pop off.
Yeah, I mean, Kenshi, Favs, and Snacky, they didn't have the greatest game number 7, but now moving on to Caleb, Wheels, and Tautai, we got to see them a little bit in the end game in game number 7. They made it to 9th place, and more importantly, they were able to grab 5 eliminations, garnering them 10 points on top of the placement points that they got. But of course, when you look at this team, you have to look at their performance yesterday. They did grab a victory royale in game number 3 there, doing it pretty confidently, holding it from height. Of course, name of the game here is holding height and being able to grab those easy tags onto the low ground.
Yeah, if you hold height, you play as a team, and you make end games, even if it's the 10th or 9th place, you get so many eliminations. That might set them apart. Talk about a trio that likes setting themselves apart from everyone else. Arcrum, Rex, Epic Will rolling in, still uncontested to this day on Sweaty Sands. Doesn't matter what people are saying on Twitter, on socials. At the end of the day, these guys roll in and they're a powerhouse. In this game specifically, though, we were watching them come through top 8. You saw Rex go down, or I believe Arcrum go down slightly earlier, so it had to be a little bit of a clutch situation. Didn't totally work out, but they're so consistent every time they make an endgame. They have the elims, they have the power, and day 2 is usually theirs. Game 1 for this day, though, will go to Tautai, Wheels, and Caleb. Might not come out with the VR, but the consistent finish, 9th place, 5 elims, that nets them 213 points and a first place overall.
I mean, the top 5 teams were the teams that we talked about at the start of the show that were in contention of grabbing first place after the end of the day here. And those are still the same 5 teams that we're seeing here, but none of them were able to make it into the end game, the very, very end game right there. One team that was the team that won, of course, Bakata, Vernie, and Midi right there. You see them jumping up all the way into 6th place right now. But more importantly, we have to look at the points that first versus 6th has right now. This has to be one of the closest top 6s that we've seen so far, with only 40 points separating these teams.
Yeah, everyone really closed the gap. Now it's just maybe a 15-point difference. And what was it before? 40? That was definitely a catch-up game. On this page, too, we're seeing ties at around 95 points, all the way down to like 70 points. Now look at it. Triple digits leaking through all the way to 18th. So you're talking about a lot of people who are looking to level up. Trashy, Vert's there too. We see Jagger, Mojo Solution not able to get off of this page, but they're rolling through. Domo, Unsightly, and Glace, they're kind of bouncing back between top 10 and 11th overall. They got the VR, Kelly. They also have the potential to just rise all the way to the top.
But the top is already so risen right now. I mean, I was just talking about how these top 5 teams weren't able to make it to the end game, but I was wrong. Caleb, Tautai, and Wheels, they were able to grab 9th place with 5 eliminations, and then Arcrum, Rex, and Epic Will were able to grab 8th place with only 1 elimination. But still, if they are still able to make it and break it into that top 10 right there, that is so many placement points. So even if we're not seeing them in like the final 2 or 3 teams, that doesn't mean that they're not still grabbing those points that they need, and that's what is setting them apart from everyone else. Even when they're not performing, they still are kind of performing.
It's all about that consistency factor, right? Just being able to make it in those top placements, like you're saying, even if it's just flying under the radar, that's still pushing them up the leaderboards. But you know what time it is? It's game number 2 on the day. That's right, we're jumping on the battle bus once again. Clay, Sundown, back over to you guys.
Thank you so much, Zeke, Shio, and Kelly, and hopping on board with our match number 7 winners, Vernie, Bakata, and Midi. And you can see already some action going on in the feed as Nani is going to pick up Spidey with the knock there. You can see Llama also pinged out by Vernie. They're landing over on a pretty sizable split around the side of Slurpee, so just need to make sure that they don't end up getting isolated. But goes to show why they had so much high ground control of that endgame.
This is a very big split, and I like it. Because I saw Vernie kind of posturing as they saw someone trying to go through, and he was kind of pushing everyone away from this area. But Troy Quinn and company, they're doing a lot better this time around. They have gotten that first knock. They got that first elimination. Adam Bay going to go down. Dylan is coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah, trying to do their best to get themselves into relevancy or win just a little bit more prize money, make it to the bump. Don't forget, first place on top of taking home that Axe of Champions is 25 grand a piece, and that's a second llama going over there to Midi and Co. So they're going to be feeling pretty good about that. They bumped themselves up into 6th place and into the conversation to potentially be able to push towards the top. Also utilizing that slurp truck, backing the truck into it for the instant break. There's a little bit of tech for you if you're not aware. And now they're going to come over and crash.
This is gonna be interesting. They've got to be really careful here, because we've talked about how we've seen this pattern of winning a game in West and then immediately getting too aggressive and trying to bite off more than you can chew. And I don't want them to do that. I want them to play their game, do exactly what they just did. Before the R is going to regret doing just that. He got beamed down to 10 HP. Cause is trying to fight off the entire trio of Quinn, Dylan, and Juicy. They already lost Adam Bay. We're able to get the reboot card. There's not a lot to go on here, especially with how low 40R is. They essentially just have to sit here and wait for Quinn, Dylan, and Juicy to make a play. But Sundown, it doesn't seem like they want to make a play.
Yeah, we can see tossing the ramp up there for a little backstop. I was about to say, I'm assuming 40R Storm has a medkit if Cause isn't tossing him over that one. He is actually one in the bottom of that building, but don't want to expose him. A good job by Quinn and Co. to get the first elimination onto Adam Bay and then kind of bait the reboot van, making him think like, oh yeah, safer, we're looting over on the side, but swinging back over the match number 7 winners, trying to get a little aggressive here. Midi hopping in, finding Hyper and taking advantage of him here. They've been having a real tough time trying to get out of the swamps, not being kicked out, instead going to be shaked down first. Give me all the information, show us where the rest are. Going to be able to clean that one up. 2 eliminations, 4 points, and a ton of space coming over for what was our 6th place team, but they're creeping up there again, almost catching 5th place after the 2 elims there.
And I was worried about this fight for them coming through, but Slurpee has been back and forth the entirety of this tournament. And so realizing that coming into today and taking advantage of that, they knew that that team was not going to be able to fight them. They weren't going to be as looted up. And even then, they were going to be a little bit split from each other. And so that was just an 100% worth it play in every ounce of the word. Because, like you said, it was quick. It was easy. They got their Storm Surge and they got their Elam points. And now they're back on their rotations. Moving over, though, we've got our first place team now after that game. Caleb, Tautai, and Wheels, who are just kind of playing ridiculously consistent. We didn't really see a lot of them in that end game there, but they were able to get into that upper echelon of placement.
So I'm back over to the Dirty Docks for the fight that seems to just keep giving over and over. Temple, Little, Zinkyu, Shifu, Depex, and Yasirman. I don't see Yasirman here, so it looks like he got taken down. Shifu, the one who got that nice 1v3 clip to get us kicked off in match number 2 yesterday. It's going to look like they're going to be a little bit under pressure here. You can see Little trying to maybe get an angle with that ramp flip, and then a little bit of a mis-execution putting that brick one above it. It's actually going to limit his options on what he's able to do here, but not a ton of excess shield here for Temple and his trio. Does have the epic pump on the Zing, so you can assume that he's going to be the one to make the play, and yeah, they're looking for a chop.
And they're ready for it too. I think the team above was ready. They did not go down that easily though. Shots come through. Zing's going to go down to 55 HP. The damage being dealt onto Temple as well. They were ready up above. They thought, oh, we're just going to chop him down. We'll get those easy tags. But no, they're not going out without a fight. Look, they automatically disengage down into that building. Shifu and Depth, though, are split. He has to get together. They're not all too close. Shifu actually decided not to even go in that building as a disengage. Maybe wants to come through. Because look at Depth. There's not a lot Shifu can do.
Ton of damage, had no builds left, and Zinkyu going to find him out there, going to get the knock zone. It's going to be coming through. Potential shakedown for information, but instead just going to grab the siphon. There's bandages there, and it's only the 1 tick zone, so they don't really have to worry about it. And they should be able to wrap this up here in a second. I don't anticipate that this player is going to be able to really outlast them that much longer, but they have to beware the health bars, and boom, there it is, finding a nice little pre-fire shot onto DepX, but only needed to connect with 2 or 3 pellets there because he was down bad.
Dirty Ducks, it seems to be back and forth. We talked about how yesterday was essentially even. No one ended up winning, and Little and company trying to make it theirs. I don't believe they actually ended up winning out on last game's POI battle, but back over towards the center of the map, we've got Wheels, we've got Taltai, Caleb off in the distance, and we talked about this as kind of a scarecrow base. They're not going to sit here for the entirety of the game because it's made out of wood. It's so easy to just shoot on down, but they're just trying to scare people away from claiming that area because they want it for themselves. Eventually, you may see them fortify it up with metal, with brick, move to another place, but again, it's still first zone, and this is where West starts to calm down a little bit. We've had our initial POI fights, and everybody is just trying to find their space here in the zone.
Yeah, and you can also see them rocking that FNCS outfit that is in the item shot. You can take that out. Has the logo on it and the coloring for this season to kind of celebrate it. It will end up being exclusive, so don't forget to get it before it's gone. But these guys competing for a more exclusive cosmetic, the Axe of Champions. They want that first place spot. They want all the glory that comes with it. And continuing to just kind of recycle the wood here, build up to try and get some sight lines, distribute utility evenly, and just get some tags. Not looking to do anything special right now. They just want to hold on because with 5 matches left, they know as long as they keep making end games, they'll put themselves in a spot where they're able to contest for first place.
I gotta say, that outfit looks real good with the FNCS back bling from last season as well. I got both the combo going, and I am a little jealous that, you know, there's not like a matching pickaxe quite yet for it. I know these guys want it as well, and then they'd have the whole outfit. They'd have the pickaxe, the outfit, they've had the back bling as well, and it would just look, I want to see that from the winners at any region, especially here in West. I'd love to see that picture on Twitter later. But moving over to Bluzro, Nigel, and Nani there. 8th place, they jumped up a spot coming in from that last game. Zone is pulling more towards Sweaty, and this will be an interesting one. We haven't really seen how this one will play out. But 42 points in their first game the second game is really great.
Yeah, but they need to be careful with this rotation. Without having the chonkers, the rotation over the water really isn't that efficient, but they will end up picking up some mechanical parts, dropping as their ride gets abused here. And that's just so often you can see players on top of those Guardian Spires or on top of the hotel over at Sweaty, just raining shots out of him, making this rotation just a little bit more difficult. And I also gotta say, what's up to everyone hanging out in Party Royale? Hit me with your favorite emote right now if you have any of those throwables, the consumables, or the toys. Right now, just toss them up at the screen. Go on, get them up there, huck them up there, hit the screen, because we're gonna be chilling for a bit. This is the time and place in NA West where not a whole lot goes on. They're gonna be looking for tags, they're gonna be looking to trade out, and I'm gonna be looking on that stat on the left-hand side. Bluzro's trio has finished top 5 in the last 3 games. Talk about momentum.
And they didn't even let the day separate them. They came out swinging. Temple going to go down, I think, just to zone as they're trying to rotate in. They had that fight, and with where it ended up pulling, I don't think it was that easy to find those Storm Surge tags. But look at where their zone is. The observers are showing us that map. It is centered up around Holly and Sweaty. And that means Arkram, Epic Whale, and Rex are going to have such a priority on this zone and these tags as well.
But you can also tell, you're seeing in the bottom right-hand corner of the map there is no one in the center of the map. So there's going to be a lot of rotations and a lot of gatekeeping going on. And what we mean by that is the teams who are on the outside of that new safe zone, the ones who are just inside the white circle, all those triangles are going to be pointing towards the outside and raining shots on the players who try and rotate